ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरून् श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णकरुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So we will continue our Bhagavatam reading from where we have left. It is third canto, fourth chapter, 33rd sloka, where Uddhava and Vidura were having discussions, and then now, now Uddhava is departing, and Vidura is going to meet the no Maitreya Rishi. So that's the scene that's going to be there. So let's continue. Okay. विदुरोऽपि उद्धवात् श्रुत्वा कृष्णस्य परमात्मनः क्रीडो क्रीडयो पातदेहस्य कर्माणि श्लाघितानि च. Vidura also heard from Uddhava about the appearance and disappearance of Lord Krishna, the super soul, in the mortal world, which is a subject matter sought after with great perseverance by the great sages. Right? So here we see that this amongst Vidura and Uddhava. So this is the topic that has been going on. Uddhava spoke about the appearance and disappearance of Lord Krishna, who is the Paramatma, and this is a subject matter that is sought after with great perseverance by great sages. So we had often been discussing about this sloka that Janma Karma Chame like Divyam Evam Yo Veti Tatvatah. So Tattva Deham Punarjanma Naiti Mam Iti So Arjuna. So one who understands the birth, appearance, and activities, and also the disappearance of Krishna. So he doesn't need to take a birth again. No, he can get liberated. So that's the greatest fortune of understanding these subject matters. So that very subject matter is discussed between Vidura and Uddhava. Right? Okay, purport. The subject matter of appearance and disappearance of the super soul, Lord Sri Krishna, is a mystery even for great sages. The word Paramatmanaha is significant in this verse. An ordinary living being is generally called Atma, but Lord Krishna is never an ordinary living being because he is Paramatma, the super soul. Yet his appearance as one of the human beings and his disappearance again from the mortal world are subject matters for research workers who execute research work with great perseverance. Such subject matters are certainly of increasing interest because the researchers have to search out the transcendental abode of the Lord, which he enters after finishing his pastimes in the mortal world. But even the great sages have no information that beyond the material sky is the spiritual sky where Sri Krishna eternally resides with his associates, although at the same time he exhibits his pastimes in the mortal world in all the universes one after another. Yeah, it is. This fact is confirmed in Brahma Samhita 537. Goloka eva nivashati akilatma bhutaha. So the Lord, by his inconceivable potency, resides in his eternal abode Goloka, yet at the same time, as Super Soul, he is present everywhere, in both the spiritual and material skies, by his multifarious manifestations. Therefore, his appearance and disappearance are simultaneously going on, and no one can say definitely which of them is the beginning and which is the end. His eternal pastimes have no beginning nor end, and one has to learn of them from the pure devotees only, and not waste valuable time in so-called research work. So it is mentioned that it is subject matters of great research work, but then research works are not very useful in this connection. So there is a nice sloka in this connection is there which says tarko apratishta shrutayo vibhinna. So by tarka vad vivad uh, we cannot establish what is absolute truth or understand the activities of the Supreme Lord. Tarko apratishta shrutayo vibhinna, like the Shrutis or the Vedic literatures, they also speak multiple varieties of things, and it's very difficult to understand what is it. It is very difficult to understand the conclusions of the Vedic literatures. Shrutayo vibhinna, nasha munir yasya matirna bhinnam. So even the munis, the great thinkers or research workers, as it is mentioned here, so they also have different mati, different matirna bhinnam, and dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhayam. So the essence of dharma or the devotion to the Supreme Lord is very secretive, nihitam guhayam, and mahajano yena katasya panta. Only by following in the footsteps of great devotees. Here Prabhupada is mentioning here, one has to learn them from the pure devotee only, and not waste valuable time in so-called research work. Right? Okay, text 34. Dehanyasam cha tasyaivam dhiranam dhairyavardhanam anyesh anyesham dushkarataram pashunam viklavatmanam. The Lord's glorious acts and his acceptance of various transcendental forms for the performance of extraordinary pastimes in the mortal world are very difficult for anyone other than his devotees to understand. And for the beasts, they are simply a mental disturbance. Okay, so let's see the purport. The transcendental forms and pastimes of Lord, as described in Bhagavad Gita, are difficult subject matters for those who are not devotees to understand. So, Bhaktyamam Abhijanati, Yavan Yaschasmi Tattvataha. So, if somebody is not a devotee, he cannot understand. Only a devotee can understand this subject matter. Right? The Lord never reveals himself to persons like jnanis and yogis. Naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavita. Right? So the Lord never reveals himself. Right? Avajayanti man muda manusam tanumashrita. So like various slokas are there in Bhagavad Gita which talks about how the Lord doesn't reveal himself, to the people who are not devotees. So here there is a classification here. Let's just try to understand this. I'll just share another screen. Hmm. So here we have something called transcendentalists. So we have been studying about this aspect of transcendentalists, and then now here we are seeing somebody as devotees and non-devotees, right? So this is a very interesting subject matter. So I'll just put it here in different share, different screen, and then I'll show it you. So now we see there are three kinds of people: one, two, and three, and four probably. So here we have people who are behind sense gratification, right? So they are materialist, hardcore materialist. No, so there is. I'm sorry. They are hardcore materialists, right? So now after that we have jnanis, and then after that we have yogis, and after that we have bhaktas, devotees, right? So these are all the different classes of people. So now all these three are considered to be transcendentalists. Okay, just a minute. All these three are considered to be transcendentalists, right? Transcendentalist means what? So transcendentalist means those people who are not busy in this world of sense gratification, and they are trying to go beyond the sense gratification, or they are trying to understand what is soul and know what is matter and what is soul. So all these people, jnanis, yogis, and bhaktas, all of them know the difference between soul and the matter, spirit and the matter. But the problem is, these two are still not considered devotees. They are also non devotees. So, only the bhaktas, only the devotees of the Lord are considered to be actually, what is that, properly situated in their consciousness. So, in this way, like there are different, this ones are there. So, whenever the matter of transcendentalist comes, um, like we call all these three people as transcendentalists. And whenever we come about the topic of devotion, only bhaktas they understand the topic of devotion, and only they can understand who the Lord is, what is his abode is, and they can understand the highest aspects. Krishna very clearly mentions bhaktyamam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tatvatah. So he is very, very clear, and categorically he describes that only bhaktas can understand me. So he describes about Jnana Yogi, he describes about Dhyana Yogi, everything he describes. Then finally he says, no, only through bhakti you can understand me. So that's the point. So these people, yogis and jnanis, they can understand the soul and the matter. They can understand spirit and matter. Among spirit, they may not be able to understand the varieties, and they may not be able to understand the spiritual world, and they will not be able to understand all those various kinds of things, the spiritual variegatedness. So they can at most reach to the Brahma Jyoti platform. So they cannot reach to the Vaikuntha planets. Jnanis and yogis can never reach to Vaikuntha planets. So they have to be a bhaktas, right? So, in fact, in the Brahma's prayers also, we were discussing this thing. Enne Ravindraksha Vimukta Maninas Tvayastabhava Davishuddha Buddhaya Aruhya Kachena Param Padam Tata Patanti Ada Anadrita Ishmadangre. Right? So, it is until unless one takes shelter of, sorry, it's not Brahma's prayers, I think. Comes in the demigod's prayers to Krishna in the in the womb of his mother, I suppose. So there, they say that it is until unless somebody takes shelter of the Lord's lotus feet, so they cannot get mukti. No, it is not possible for them to get mukti. So, like this fourth category is like fully engaged in the material activities, and above them are the jnanis and yogis, who have knowledge of what is matter and what is spirit. And then above them is the devotees of the Lord, who just not only know what is matter, what is spirit, they know the personality of Godhead. They know they are intimately related with the Lord and things like that. And in the Brahma's prayers, we were discussing about how these the glorious, fortunate position of the residents of Vrindavan. So they were not just knowing about the Lord, not just knowing about the aspects of devotional service. They have captured the Lord by their devotional service. That Param Brahma, that Supreme Lord, he is just there, wandering around in the holy land of Vrindavan, and he's completely captivated by the love and affection of all the devotees of Vrindavan, right? So that's the aspect here. So let's get back to our this one. Yeah, so we were seeing these things. The transcendental form and pastimes of the Lord, as described in Bhagavad Gita, are difficult subject matters for those who are not devotees to understand. The Lord never reveals himself to persons like jnanis and yogis, right? So they are transcendentalists. They are trying to go beyond this world, and they are aiming at liberation. Jnanis and yogis may get liberation, but they will not be able to understand the Lord. They will not be able to enter into the Vaikuntha planets, right? So they will be hanging around in between. That's the position of jnanis and yogis. And okay, and there are others who, because of their envying the Lord from the bottom of their hearts, are classified amongst the beasts. And for such envious beasts, the subject matter of the Lord's appearance and disappearance is simply a mental disturbance. Because they hate the Lord to the core. If they understand that he's appeared and he's disappeared, and he's like, his pastimes are so wonderful and all, they cannot tolerate it. It will be very, very difficult for them to tolerate. Okay, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 7:15, the miscreants who are simply concerned with material enjoyment, who work hard like beasts of burden, who hardly know the personality of Godhead at any stage due to asurika bhava, or a spirit of revolt against the Supreme Lord. Right? So this is like it is mentioned that namam dushkutino muda prapadyante naradama maya apahita jnana asurim bhava ashritaha. So this is the this one, that 7.15, Prabhupada is mentioning here. So these four classes of people, he was in this connection. Krishna mentions four classes of people who come to him and four classes of people who doesn't come to him. So chaturvida bhajanti ma jana sukritino arjuna artho artharthi jignasur jnani cha bharatarshava. So there are people who have sukriti and they can approach the Lord, and people, these are all duskritina, so, or asurika. No, these are like people of asura mentality. So they will work hard like beast of burden, or no, they are simply concerned with material enjoyment and things like that. So such asuric people, no, they will not be able to understand, about the Supreme Lord. The transcendental bodily expansions manifested by the Lord for his pastimes in mortal world, and the appearance and disappearance of such transcendental expansions are difficult subject matters, and those who are not devotees are advised not to discuss the Lord's appearance and disappearance, lest they commit further offenses at the lotus feet of the Lord. Right. So it is for the jnanis and yogis and other people like who are envious of the Lord. So it is better that sometimes the jnanis are favorable and sometimes they are envious of the Lord. So like then they are not advised to read about or discuss about the pastimes of the Lord. So better they engage in some philosophical study and things like that. The more they discuss the transcendental appearance and disappearance of the Lord in the Asuric spirit, the more they enter into the darkest region of hell, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 16:20. Anyone who is against the transcendental loving service of the Lord is more or less a beastly creature, as confirmed in this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? Okay, so that means very low consciousness. If somebody is not having attraction to the Vasudeva Katha, so like in the Bhagavatam installation program, also we were reading this particular shloka saying that Dharma Svanishtita Pumsam Vishwakshena Katha Shuya No Utpadayet Yediratim Shramaye Vahi Kevalam. So if we are following a system of Dharma, and then na utpadayet ediratim. So like the rati or the attraction towards the Vasudeva Katha is not coming up. So then no one has to consider that all his the time that is spent on doing all this dharmic activities or religious activities is a waste of time. Right. So here it is mentioned as beastly. No, such people are called as beastly creatures. Text 35. Atmanam cha kuru shreshta krishnena manase shitam dhyayan gate bhagavate rurodha rurodha prema vitvalah. Understanding that he was remembered by Krishna while quitting this world, Vidura began to cry loudly, overwhelmed by the ecstasy of love. Purport. Vidura was overwhelmed by ecstasy of love when he understood that Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, thought of him at the last moment. Although he thought of himself as insignificant, he was remembered by the Lord by his causeless mercy. Vidura accepted this as a great favor. Thus he cried. Right, so this is a very amazing thing that we like everywhere you see like people go to the temple and then they kind of fight in the queues saying that no, I have to go forward, or I came before you, and things like that and all. So all that is for what? No, basically to save time. No, they don't want to spend much time in the temple, so they just want to get the job done and go. So even otherwise, if we take positively also, no, for what? No, for going and seeing the Lord. and trying to push others, and then going and seeing the Lord. So if we take it quite positively, that fighting's what happens. So but then here we see Vidura is not there in the scene, and the Supreme Lord remembers Vidura. So how great is this favor actually? So that is a favor that Vidura got, and because of that he was feeling like very very what is that? He was very much affected by the loving ecstasy, and he was crying, thinking that the Lord had remembered him, just before leaving this planet. Okay, this crying is the last word in the progressive path of devotional service. One who can cry for the Lord in love is certainly successful in the line of devotional service, right? So this is a very important thing, that crying for Krishna. So it is very very important aspect. So we see that Vidura is in such fortunate situation that he's been remembered by the Lord, and then he's also like so much in connection with the Lord, and he's completely moved by the affection that is showered by the Lord, and like and the mercy that has been shown to him by the Lord. So he is literally in tears, right? So this is considered to be the highest perfection in Krishna consciousness. Okay. कालिन्द्याः कतिभिः सिद्ध आरोभिर्भरतर्षभ प्रापद्यत स्वसरितं यत्र मित्रा सुतो मुनिः. After passing few days on the bank of river Yamuna, Vidura, the self-realized soul, reached the bank of Ganges, where the great sage Maitreya was situated. Okay. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purport of third canto, fourth chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Vidura Approaches Maitreya. Okay. So let's get into chapter 5, Vidura's talks with Maitreya. And this is going to go a very long time. This whole of third canto will go in this Vidura's talks with Maitreya, and then like even continues in the fourth canto also. Right? Okay. Fifth chapter, sloka 1. Sri Sukha Uvacha Dvaridhyu Nadhyar Rishabha Kurunam Maitreya Masina Magada Bodham Shatto Pashratyachyuta Bhava Siddhaha Prapacha Saushilya Gunabi Triptaha. Sukadeva Goswami said, Vidura, the best amongst the Kuru dynasty, who was perfect in devotional service to the Lord, thus reached the source of the celestial Ganges river, Haridwar, where Maitreya, the great fathomless learned sage of the world, was seated. Vidura was perfect in gentleness and satisfied in transcendence, inquired from him. Purport. Vidura was already perfect due to his unalloyed devotion to the infallible Lord. The Lord and the living entities are all qualitatively the same by nature, but the Lord is quantitatively much greater than any individual living entity. So this is we and the Lord have same quality. We are spirit souls. The Lord is also spirit soul. We are Atma. The Lord is Atma. So, but we are Atma. He is Paramatma, and we are Anu. He is Vibhu. No, we are the smallest sample of the Lord. No, we can understand in that way. If you have a huge piece of gold, and if you take, if you chip off one small sample, from that gold, so this small piece will have all the qualities of the big piece, but then the quantity is different. So that is how we can actually understand the Lord and the living entities both are spirit, and they are of same nature, qualitatively, but quantitatively the Lord is very very big. We are Anu and the Lord is Vibhu. He is ever infallible, whereas the living entities are prone to fall under the illusory energy. So this is another, this one. The Lord is infallible. The Lord is called as Achyuta or Akshara, but then living entity is called as Kshara or Chuta, right? So in this way, the living entities are prone to fall under the illusory energy, but Lord can never fall under illusory energy, right? Okay. Vidura had already surpassed the infallible nature of living entity in conditioned life due to his being Achyuta Bhava, or legitimately absorbed in devotional service of the Lord. You know. So this stage of life is called Achyuta Bhava Siddha, or perfection by dint of devotional service. Anyone, therefore, who is absorbed in the devotional service of the Lord is a liberated soul and has all admirable qualities. The learned sage Maitreya was sitting in a solitary place on the bank of Ganges at Haridwar, and Vidura, who was a perfect devotee of the Lord and possessed all good transcendental qualities, approached him for inquiry. So, from here we can see the great devotees, no, they are not sitting saying that like I know everything about the Lord. So in fact, Lord remembered me. Now I'm such a great person. Like no, the biggest of the person, the Supreme Lord, He remembered me. So how great I am, you see. Like no, if Lord would have remembered us, we would have gone around boasting like that. So but Vidura is so humble. So even after getting such a favor, he is approaching no further to understand about the Lord, right? So it is something like no, if you if you get a little bit of money, you get more interest to earn more money, right? So in the same way, like if you get a little bit of mercy from the Lord, so devotees get more interest to get more mercy, from the Lord. So that's how they want to become spiritually rich, Okay. Text 2. Vidura uvacha sukaya karmani karoti loko natai sukam janyad uh, uparamam va vindeta bhuyastatha eva dukkam yad atra yuktam bhagavan vadennaha. Vidura said, O great sage, everyone in this world engages in fruitive activities to attain happiness, but one finds neither satiation nor the mitigation of distress. Hmm. On the contrary, one is only aggravated by such activities. Please, therefore, give us directions on how one should live for real happiness. So, this is an amazing question. No, this is a question that is going to help so many people in this world, right? So it is a para upakar, kind of a question. He's asking that everyone in this world is engaged in fruitive activities to attain happiness. So fruitive activities basically means what? Basically trying to gratify one's senses, right? So that is called fruitive activities. If I do something, so what is in it for me? What is a fruit that is waiting for me after this activity? So that is called fruitive activity. Now, in fact, we had discussed this loka sometimes. It is mentioned Naishkarmyam api achyuta bhava varjitam nashobanam nyalam alam niranjanam, like Kuta punas sashvad avadrameshware nacharpitam karma yadhyapakaranam. So this is something that Narad Muni is mentioning to Vyasadeva in the first canto, fifth chapter. So where Vyasadeva is dejected after writing all the Vedic literatures and he's not in a happy mood. And Narad Muni, the spiritual master of Vyasadeva, reaches there. And then there is a discussion that's happening. And in the discussion, it is mentioned that no. So Narad Muni is telling, no, why he is unhappy. So Narad Muni is telling that you have written all the Vedic literatures encouraging people to engage in sense gratification. Already people like to do sense gratification, and now you have given an authorization by your writing. So what's the point? So, and he mentions this particular sloka. He says that Naishkarmyam means Nishkama Karma Yoga, or like doing one's prescribed duties without attachment to the fruits of those activities. That is called Nishkama Karma Yoga. So they are doing karma, they are doing their prescribed duties as Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, but then they are not attached to the fruits of the activity. So Naishkarmyam, api, no, although a person is doing Naishkarmyam, api Achyuta Bhava Varjitam, if they are devoid of Achyuta Bhava, then Nashobanam, it is not very good. It is not very beautiful, or it is not very appreciative. Nashobanam, Jnanam Alam Niranjanam. So even no Nishkama Karma Yoga or Jnana Yoga and things like that, this is all not very good because it is not having any Achyuta Bhava Varjitam, right? And then it says Kuta Punas Sashvad Abhadram Ishware. So then if Nishkama Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga is not very good, so then Kuta Puna, like what we can say about Abhadra, that Abhadra, that inauspicious thing, What is that inauspicious thing that they are talking about there? No kuta puna sashvad abhadra mishware, no nacharpitam karma yadappa karanam. So that fruitive activity is called as abhadra. It is called as inauspicious or the most degraded form of activity. So right now the whole world is engaged in fruitive activity. The whole world is thinking like, no, I'll do this and what's the benefit for me? And what is in it for me? No, this is according to the standard of Bhagavatam, this is considered to be abhadra. This is considered to be like fully inauspicious. Bhadra means like no auspicious. Abhadra means completely inauspicious. Right? So this fruitive activity, this is what people are doing to attain happiness. No, so first is fruitive activity, and then okay. So we will try to again put a chart here and then try to understand what we were trying to do here. Similar kind of a thing we can actually see for this also. So first is fruitive activity, right? So that is called karma yoga or sakama karma yoga, right? And then next is called the nishkama karma yoga, or a person is not attached to fruits, no fruits we can write. That's called nishkama karma yoga, right? And then next comes this jnana yoga. So in jnana yoga, what happens is like fruit, no fruit, no karma also. So they have given up even their like activities in this world, right? Nishkama karma yoga. Sorry, or this one, no activity, no karma also. Jnana yoga. And then dhyana yoga, there is a meditation on the Lord that comes, dhyana or ashtanga. Ashtanga is sometimes called as Dhyana Yoga also. In Ashtanga Yoga, there is an introduction of meditation on the Lord. So, but then meditation on the Lord, and for what purpose? So again, there comes a little bit of kama again back, like siddhi kami. They get into siddhi kami, or they want ashta siddhis, and they want or it is it's a mechanical process again. So then after that comes is the bhakti, or desire to serve the Lord. Serve the Lord. So that is bhakti. Right? So now if we see, here, this fruitive activity is considered to be, any kind of yoga a person may be doing. This fruitive activity, the downmost thing, this is considered to be completely inauspicious, abhadra. This fruitive activity is like everybody speaks bad about it. This materialistic activity, fruitive activity. So nishkama karma yoga means like without any desire for the results. There are so many people who are doing charity, who are trying to help people, and what's there in return for them? No, they don't want anything in return, right? So they are doing nishkama karma yoga. So, but still it is bad only. Still it is bad only. So what is the main problem in the world is everything belongs to Krishna, and everything should be used in his service. Nishkama karma yoga means, I in one class, somebody was like, he was not able to digest this point, and I was, I gave him a graphic example. So, okay, charity is good. I asked him, is charity good? Yes, he told, yeah, charity is good. And then, like, if charity is good, then can I take money from your pocket and do charity? I was saying, no, that's not possible. So Nishkama Karma Yoga is like that, So, no, everything belongs to Krishna. And this guy, he doesn't want to consult Krishna, and he just wants to do his, Karma Yoga based on his nature that he has acquired. And he doesn't want to apply himself completely in the service of the Lord. So then it becomes a Nishkama Karma Yoga, right? So Bhakti Yoga means what? I want to do, like, everything that exists is Krishna's property, and I want to consult Krishna for like taking care of things. Bhakti Yogi, he says, okay, fine, people are poor, what should I do? What is Krishna telling about it? Okay, feed them prasadam. Okay, so a Bhakti Yogi does feeding prasadam. And then he asked, like, still, even after feeding prasadam, we see that there is something, okay, in the future they will get some sukruti, or their sukruti will get fructified in the future. Can I do something now, for people? Yes, Krishna is telling that people are suffering because of ajnana, people are suffering because of ignorance. So give them knowledge. Then they take up to the process of teaching Bhagavad Gita and spreading the message of Bhagavad Gita to people. So like that, for everything, he consults the Lord. So that becomes a bhakti yoga. Otherwise, Nishkama Karma Yoga also like happens like this. Ki, we are taking care of God's children, without without consulting Him how to take care of the children of God, right? So we are just simply doing whatever we think is good. So that's not very good. So we have to consult. Krishna has spoken in Bhagavad Gita. All the scriptures are there. So if we consult the Lord and do the welfare activities, that becomes bhakti yoga. If we don't consult the Lord and if we just go about doing, our own stuff, like just the karma is also like consultation of scriptures. So but then like it is not full in complete accordance with the Lord, right? So there are not scriptures also, all the parts of the scriptures are not fully what is that representing God's will. So that's how in the 5th chapter of Bhagavatam, first canto Bhagavatam, if we read Vyasadev's despondency, we can see that after writing all the Vedic literatures, he is completely despondent and he's not at all happy, because he has only given ways and means to like attain the sense gratification for people in general. That is what is karma yoga. So karma yoga is a legal means. We can say like karma yoga is in one sense a legalized wine shop. Right? So I want sense gratification. Sense gratification means what? Krishna's property I want to enjoy, right? So Krishna's property I want to enjoy, and now karma yoga is just giving a legalized way of enjoying Krishna's property. Okay, fine. Anyway, you're going to enjoy, so enjoy it based on what is mentioned in the scriptures, right? So when it becomes the point becomes very clear. No, everything belongs to Krishna and everything Krishna should enjoy. He is the enjoyer and he should enjoy. So then it becomes bhakti. Then it becomes proper bhakti, right? So when Krishna enjoys, then we can enjoy also. We had studied, often we have studied this concept of yata taror mula nisechanena tripyanti yat skanda bhujopashaka. So when we offer the water to the root of a tree, tripyanti yat skanda, like the trunk of the tree, bhuja, branches of the tree, and upashaka, the sub branches of the tree, everything becomes nourished. So that is the ideal and legal and proper way to do. So the main problem is when we present Krishna consciousness, people say, why is that Krishna only should enjoy? No, why not me? No, why is he the only enjoyer? That's the biggest problem. They are envious of Krishna. They are envious of the Supreme Lord, right? So I hope this kind of gives some idea of this one. Okay, here I just came to this one for explaining about happiness. So this fruitive activity, what we are talked about, here zero happiness is there. Actually people think that is going to give them happiness, but zero happiness is there. People just go behind the sense gratification and there is no happiness over there. And then next is Nishkama Karma Yoga. Some level of happiness is there because they are giving up the fruits of the activity. So they will get some level of happiness. And in Jnana Yoga, Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na soshati na kangshati samasarvesu bhuteshu madbhakte labate param. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. This Jnana Yoga, like this is a platform where people come to some level of meaningful happiness. Some level of happiness, not full happiness. So, like Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma, he becomes a Prasannatma. Na soshati na kangshati. He doesn't have a lamentation. He doesn't have hankering. Oh, I need to get this, and if I don't have this, I'll get depressed. Or no, I lost this, and things like that. So he's not of those things. He's like completely satisfied. He is satisfied from within. So that is Jnana Yogis. Ashtanga Yogis is a mix of all the below this ones. So I'm not covering that. So Bhakti Yoga is complete satisfaction because we are watering the root of the tree, right? So it is complete satisfaction. So that is this one. All other happinesses like Nishkama Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga is almost like if a plant is drying, you can just sprinkle water on the plant and the plant will get a little refreshment. So it's something of that sort, right? So, and some drops may enter into this one also, like may enter into the root and they may get some nourishment. But bhakti yoga means properly watering the root of the tree, properly watering the root of the plant, and the plant will become really, really very nourished, right? So this is the aspect of bhakti yoga, right? So SKY stands for Sakama Karma Yoga. So Karma Yoga, karma means like the activities prescribed in the scriptures for different varanas. That is called karma. So for a Shudra, there is a certain kind of a karma that is prescribed. For a Vaishya, there is a certain kind of karma that is prescribed. And for a Kshatriya, there is a certain kind of karma that is prescribed. And Brahmana, there is a certain kind of karma that is prescribed. So if we follow that injunctions of scriptures, then it becomes karma. And then Sakama Karma Yoga means with desire for fruits. That is what is called fruitive activities. Desire for fruits. Kama, with kama, with desires for enjoying the results. That is called Sakama Karma Yoga. And Nishkama means like without desire to enjoy the fruits. I want to do my prescribed duties, but I don't want to enjoy the fruits. I understand this doesn't belong to me. Like karma neva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadashana. So like you have the right to perform your duty, but then you don't have the right to enjoy the fruits because fruits doesn't belong to you, right? So the same way, just like when we say that you can go to the office, you can work, you have the right to work because you have been paid. In fact, like you are supposed to work there. And then when you're working, you have produced a very nice product, because of your work, but you cannot take the product home. You have worked for the company, and the product that has come out of your work has to be offered to the company, right? And then you have to take only the paycheck, that is prasad. That is how this one is. So Nishkama Karma Yoga means a person is thinking that, okay, fine, like I'm just working, I'm like this energy is given to me by the Lord, and everything else in this world is nothing is mine. So I'm just using these things to transform, and the result also doesn't belong to me. Just like a mestri, he comes, he constructs the building. He does the karma, he does the work, full work. But can he say like because he worked for the building, the building belongs to him? No, the person who supplied the money, the person who supplied the raw materials, the building belongs to him. So in the same way, like we may perform our karma. So where is the raw materials came from? Where did the energy came from? Where did the intelligence came from? Everything has come from Krishna. So then obviously the thing that I performed, the result will belong to Krishna only. How will I be able to take? How will I be able to claim the results of my work, right? So Nishkama Karma Yogi, like he becomes a little more developed in knowledge. Means the moment the knowledge comes, immediately we become detached from the fruits of our work. If we are so much attached to the fruits of our work, then that means we have very, very low knowledge. Knowledge doesn't mean that how much of memory I have got, how many slokas I know, or how much of information I know. Knowledge means detachment from the fruits of activities. And still more higher definition of knowledge means na soshati na kangshati. And still more higher definition of knowledge means he understands that he is spirit and he is not matter. He doesn't do anything with matter. So that's the position of Jnana Yoga. He doesn't, he stops all the karma. He doesn't do anything with matter. But a Bhakti Yogi, he understands, okay, matter or spirit, everything belongs to Krishna, because he understands Krishna now. Oh, if everything belongs to Krishna, why should I renounce the matter? I will use matter also in Krishna's service. I'll use everything in Krishna's service. So that becomes a Bhakti Yogi, right? Okay. There is a question. It means doing all the things to the children, but we should not expect anything from them. Not just to children, for anything. We are meant to, we have been provided some energy, we have been provided with some raw materials, we have got a particular duty. So that is the Vedic thought process. Vedic thought process is, what is my duty? What am I supposed to do? The Kali Yuga mentality or the materialistic mentality is, okay, I have did so many things to people. What did they do to me? What have I got in return from them? So like that is like fruitive activity. That's called abhadra. That is very, very bad. And a person who's attached to expecting results or expecting anything from anyone, be it children or be it anyone, they will always be frustrated. No, they will never be satisfied. So because they are attached to abhadra, that is inauspicious, how can an inauspicious situation create happiness in them? No, it's not possible. So that is why it's called abhadra, right? So expecting anything in return means fruitive. No, that's the lowest. That's the lowest of everything. Okay, so let's get back to our discussion here. Vidura said, "O great sage, everyone in this world engages in fruitive activities to attain happiness. This is the general formula. Happiness means what? No, I need to have my car, I need to have my amenities, I need to have my bungalow, I need to have my bank balance and security and things like that. So this is the source of happiness for people. And they don't know that they are going behind abhadra, and they have to be continuously unhappy, no, because they are attached to this abhadra, right? But one finds neither satiation. No, he's not, it's not that he, okay, I tried for 10 years, no, try to get different sense objects, I thought these things will give me happiness, and it has not given me, I've tired of it. No, they are not getting satiated till the end of the life. They are running behind the sense gratification, right? And nor mitigation of distress. No, it's like the neither the problems that is coming because of sense gratification is stopping, neither my desire to perform sense gratification is going off. No, it's both the things are not there. On the contrary, one is only aggravated by such activities. Please therefore give us directions on how one should live for real happiness. The very nice question, very amazing question that Vidura is asking. It's a question for every single person who's there in this world. Everyone is suffering with this problem, right? So let's see. What's the answer that is given here. Okay, purport. Vidura asked Maitreya some common questions which are not originally his intention. Uddhava asked Vidura to approach Maitreya Muni and inquire into all the truths concerning the Lord, his name, fame, qualities, form, pastimes, entourage, etc. And thus, when Vidura approached Maitreya, he should have asked only about the Lord. But out of natural humility, he did not immediately ask about the Lord, but inquired into a subject which would be of great importance to the common man. A common man cannot understand the Lord. He must first know the real position of his life under the influence of illusory energy. In illusion, one thinks that he can be happy only by fruitive activities. But what actually happens is that one becomes more and more entangled in the network of action and reaction, and does not find any solution to the problem of life. There is a nice song in this connection. Because of a great desire to have all happiness in life, I built this house, but unfortunately the whole scheme has turned to ashes because the house was unexpectedly set on fire. The law of nature is like that. Everyone tries to become happy by planning in the material world, but the law of nature is so cruel that it sets fire to one's schemes. The fruity worker is not happy in his scheme, nor is there any satiation of his continuous hankering for happiness. Right, so we have sufficiently discussed about this point in our in the chart and this one. So we'll continue to the next sloka. Janasya Krishna Vimukasya Daivad Adharmashilasya Sudukhitasya Anugrahayena Charanti Nunam Bhutani Bhavyani Janardhanasya. O my Lord, great philanthropic souls travel on the earth on behalf of the Supreme Personality of Godhead to show compassion to the fallen souls who are averse to sense of subordination to the Lord. Purport. To be obedient to the wishes of the Supreme Lord is the natural position of every living entity. Because Lord is the master and living entity is the subordinate. So to be obedient to him is the natural thing, right? But due only to past misdeeds, a living being becomes averse to sense of subordination to the Lord and suffers all miseries of material existence. No one has anything to do but render devotional service to the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. Therefore, any activity other than transcendental loving service to the Lord is more or less a rebellious action against the supreme will. No, actually, one very uh, solid, means sharp definition of who's a good person and a bad person, or who's asura or who's a daiva, it's mentioned Vishnu Bhakta Bhavet Daiva Ashuram Tad Viparyaya. So a person who's Vishnu Bhakta, he's Daiva or the demigod or a divine soul. Asurim Tad Viparyaya. No, everyone else is asuras. No, so it may be a like very very harsh definition for people who are not Vishnu Bhaktas. But then this is all the scriptures say, because everything belongs to Vishnu or Krishna, and no anything else apart from Vishnu Bhakti becomes asurik, means becomes illegal. No, you are taking Vishnu's property and doing something else. No, so that becomes like completely this one. So that's why it is mentioned here. Therefore, any activity other than transcendental loving service to Lord is more or less a rebellious action against the supreme will. All fruitive activity, emphoric philosophy, and mysticism are more or less against a sense of subordination to the Lord. And any living entity engaged in such rebellious activity is more or less condemned by the laws of material nature, which work under the subordination of the Lord. So that means even jnanis and yogis are considered to be rebellious against the Lord. Though they may have the jnana yoga and dhyana yoga and all is great, like they have given up sense gratification, they have given up attachment to the fruits of the activities, they have come to the platform of Brahma Bhuta stage, but still they are rebellious living entities. Still they are not in working in accordance with the will of the Supreme Lord. So they are still rebellious against the Lord, right? So no, they are condemned by the laws of material nature. So great unalloyed devotees of the Lord are compassionate towards the fallen, and therefore they travel all over the world with the mission of bringing souls back to Godhead, back to home. Such pure devotees of the Lord carry the message of Godhead in order to deliver the fallen souls, and therefore the common man who is bewildered by the influence of the external energy of the Lord should avail himself of their association. Okay. So I just stop here for today's session. Today is the last day of Purushottam, and today evening 8:15 we have again the session on the Chaurashtakam and the 15th chapter chanting. So now I request all of you to join for this last session. It'll be nice that we end the Purushottam Vrata together, all of us together, right? So thank you all for participating in this Bhagavatam sessions, and your participation is encouraging me a lot. And we are keeping on this everyday 1 hour of reading Srila Prabhupada's books scrutinizingly, right? So it's a very, very nice opportunity for all of us. So thank you all for participating in this. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.